I have asked Jeremy to record this. Do you see the black square or the red square?
It's red.
Yes. Okay. Just because what I'm going to talk to you guys today about was my DNP project for school. Working on my doctorate in nursing practice, and you guys were gracious enough to allow me to include you in all of the fun and excitement. So just to keep things real and make sure we're still like on the same page, and you know that it's really me and not Dr. Reddick yet, right? I thought we would start with, we're not going to start with a minute of breathing because you're eating, but let's do a quick check-in. One word about what you think about when you think of team relationships, and that can be in whatever context. It doesn't have to be the program that we did. It can be in whatever context. And whoever goes first gets to choose which way we go. Carly, I knew she wanted to go. She's desperate.
Support.
Great. Which way?
To the right.
Okay. That's you. Well, it's one of you. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
She took my support.
Okay, great. Olivia, what do you think of when you think of team relationships?
One word.
One word.
I don't know. Can you go to Jeannie and come back?
Sure, we'll come back to you.
Essential.
Yeah.
Crucial.
Yeah.
Teamwork.
Yeah. Back there. Larry.
You know what? Initially, I thought you said team relationships, and my answer was going to be shouldn't exist. But
Teenagers! Okay.
So guidance.
Guidance, great.
Communication.
Great.
I don't know. I forgot. I was going to say.
That was communication.
Great.
Communication.
Collaboration.
Collaboration, great. Helpful, great.
They took my communication.
Great.
Oh no! Said the same thing.
Sorry.
Communication. Well, now that Jeannie announced what she announced before we got started here, I'm actually going to use two words, and it's customer satisfaction. It gives me chills to think about where you guys are at when it comes to customer satisfaction. So I am here to talk to you about a little bit more about the journey that we were on, and talk about relationship-based care when it comes to the imaging department. There are three phases to your work. The first phase is that relationship-based resilience, and I can tell you that in a matter of a year, you guys have over a quarter of all imaging staff having attended the one-day retreat. So you are on the verge of critical mass when it comes to all of your staff recognizing and understanding what relationship-based care means to themselves, to their teammates, and to the patients and the families, and then ultimately to our community. And it's your commitment as leaders that's actually driving this bus. So phase two was the Claiming Resilience, Team Relationship, and Wellness. And so far, the imaging leadership has been the group that's been intensely focused on this. And it's funny because what I discovered in a backward kind of way, I thought this was really a quality improvement project, but it's actually an evidence-based practice project. So when we go out into the world to describe the work that you guys have done, you've actually implemented an evidence-based practice project, because small group work makes a difference, and it has had indications in burnout, it's had indications in team relationships, and it's had indications in compassion satisfaction. So in February 2019, we actually started that, if you can believe that it was in February, so long ago. We walked through appreciative inquiry, care of self, care of colleagues, care of patients and families, care of the community, and then we finalized with a reflection of those first 5 months. We started building a very firm foundation for the imaging department when it comes to relationship-based care. And for this particular project, for my work that is in tandem with your work, it was to implement the phase two, Claiming Resilience, Team Relationship, and Wellness with all of you, specifically to look at imaging leadership from a professional quality of life standpoint, and then to implement a relationship-based care steering committee for all of imaging across the system. Let's see. So, going backwards and to talk about who all was participating in this, all 31 imaging leaders at the time were invited to attend the team relationship and wellness. We had an average of 15 people that attended each session. And I will let you know in my next slide a little bit more about what's exciting about that. But for our surveys, we had 2 different surveys. We had 13 that took the pre-intervention survey, 16 the post-intervention, and 6 the 3 months post-intervention. You guys had consistent attendance. Over 2/3 of the imaging leadership group out of the 31% attended 4 or more of those sessions. And what's amazing about that is it was in a time of low staff. It was a time of vacation, a lot of vacations during that time. And so the fact that we had 2/3 of the leadership team on board with this project really has made a difference. Again, think about that idea of critical mass, that it takes, you don't have to have 100% of everything, but if you have critical mass, it influences the culture and how we behave with each other. Okay, so let's talk about the professional quality of life tool. The professional quality of life tool, or ProQual, consists of 30 questions that are designed to measure compassion satisfaction and compassion fatigue. Compassion fatigue is broken down into 2 components. One is burnout and the other is secondary traumatic stress. Both of those are measured independently to make up the compassion fatigue score. For compassion satisfaction, scores of 42 or higher are considered great. That's great, that's good compassion satisfaction. For burnout and secondary traumatic stress, great scores there are 22 or lower. You guys were great. All 3 time points, both pre, post, and 3 months post-intervention. So whatever was going on, no matter what the chaos was of your unit, of the department, of the institution, and all those kinds of things, you guys came into work with high compassion satisfaction and low burnout and secondary traumatic stress. So that's super intriguing. This is not a research study, so we're not making correlations that this is related to the team relationship and wellness. We're just giving you information and describing how you guys are as a leadership group. And interestingly, ProQual is not used very often when it comes to imaging leaders or imaging technologists, so it might be something interesting for the future. The second survey that you filled out was a 2-item survey that had 2 questions on it. The first question was, how often do you feel burned out from your work? And the other was, how often do you feel you've become more callous toward people since you took this job? 7-point scale, ranging from never to every day. And this was a group from Mayo Clinic and Stanford that put this together, and they did a secondary analysis of multiple studies that looked at the Maslow burnout inventory, which is considered a gold standard for burnout, and found 2 questions that correlate very highly with scores indicating whether or not somebody might be at risk for burnout. So we used those, and it was great, because otherwise that's a pretty lengthy survey. You guys showed, at all survey time points, you showed a decrease in both burnout and callousness. The only time you didn't show a decrease was in the 3 months post for callousness. This is remarkable. This is not a research study. We're not saying that this was in direct correlation with participating in team relationships and wellness, or necessarily going to relationship-based resilience, but there's something about thinking about this work that may have an impact about risk for burnout and how we perform as teams and as in taking care of ourselves as well as our patients. So these measures were, in general, all of these measures were positive during our time together. And if this sparks an interest in anybody that wants to do some further work around this, maybe you're thinking about working on a growth performance goal in some way, I'll hook you up with a PhD. We'll find you somebody that can actually do the big research, I can help with implementing evidence-based practice projects or quality improvement projects. But when it comes to bigger research, we're gonna find us a PhD and make that happen. And it sounds to me like if your recent experience at RSNA, people were saying, hey, we want to hear more about this, we want to know more about this, it might be worth it to consider some of that kind of academic intensity around these things for imaging department leaders. So, in month 6, just as a reminder, we did that whole reflection, and you guys came up with a way to be as a leadership group, and you were committing to a culture of transparency, compassion, kindness, safety, and positive intent, and you were going to hold each other accountable by doing check-ins at leadership meetings. I don't need an answer today, but I just wanted to put that out there as a reminder, because one of the things that you do when you check in is you give people the opportunity to get your mind in a different space when you're coming together as a group, and then you can run your meeting as you want. As part of our work together as well, we kind of gave you a visual that described the process improvement cycle, so plan, do, study, act, and it was really just to be able to sit down and think about how each one of these efforts is not instantaneous. You don't have to solve the world's problems in one day or in one shift. The world created those problems over a very long time. So we have time to actually work on these things. And I think just knowing that your customer satisfaction is improving is evidence that something is going right here, and that's exciting. So I'm going to turn this over to Sandy, who has been my compatriot in this process, and she's going to tell us a bit more about that second objective, which was to start the RBC steering committee for the imaging department. And you don't have to stand up for this unless you want to be videotaped.
No, I'll be fine.
Thank you. Go for it.
Okay, so we had our RBC steering committee meeting, and I have to say I was very excited. So this happened right after RSNA, so I was very excited to speak about what we were doing at RSNA. And then to have the staff, I can't even tell you guys how excited they all were. And I'm not just making this up. I was very, very excited myself, because I'm like, wow, everybody's like really into it. We started to come up with a vision, and so this is kind of just a preliminary one. We have to go back to the committee. Our next meeting's in January. We're going to come back with like the wording. Is this how we really want to word it? And so the Department of Radiology at the Ohio State University Medical Center will provide the most innovative and advanced imaging technologies to support patient care, that we will strive to ensure meaningful collaboration, communication, and respect, that they're considered when treating our patients with excellence. And if you go to this next slide, so these were the words, like I said, so tell me what it means to you. What does radiology, what is being part of imaging, and what is it that you want RBC to do? And these were the words that they gave. And I mean, and then they wanted to take these words and make them into a visual. So I know we have this word cloud right now, but they even talked about like making it into almost like a Scrabble piece, like a Scrabble game, which I found interesting because it's like we all play a part, and all these words play a part into our daily lives and what we do. And I mean, it was just very, I think pride was one of the biggest things. These people are very proud to work here and are very excited to make a difference. And I don't know, it was just crazy exciting. I can't explain it. They were all like just throwing words out there and like, we want to do this, we want to do that. I have people who are trading their shifts to make sure that they can attend the meetings, and everybody just really seems ready to take this on. So I had to actually bring them down and say, whoa, wait a minute. Like, they're ready to like do things and stuff. And it's kind of like what Jeannie said, if we don't take it slow and bring it in, it will lose our sustainability. We won't last. So we have to make sure. So we're working on our bylaws and we're working on our vision. And then from there, we'll start to see more. So hopefully, their takeaway from the meeting was to come back and present something to the staff about what they have done and seen and what we're doing, so that they know that this is going on right now. even though you may not be seeing it day to day, it's there. So, that was kind of their takeaway for the meeting, and hopefully, you guys are hearing about it. Does anybody have questions about it? Anything? Okay.
So that actually concludes this presentation and my explanation and presentation of the project that I did. Really open to any kind of questions or any kind of thoughts about moving forward or anything that you're thinking about. Sometimes this is something you want to just let canoodle around in your brain, and there's nothing wrong with that as well. I want to thank you guys very much for allowing me to participate, hang out with you guys, and do this project because it was inspiring. A lot of times we think that only nurses get this kind of attention, or only physicians get this kind of attention. And what I think is really neat is that you guys took it upon yourselves to say, no, we want this. We want to do this. It wasn't something that was like pushed on you. It was something that you were asking for. So I think that means that we are ready to embrace the culture of a caring and healing environment where patient satisfaction goes up, staff satisfaction goes up, and our quality of care goes up. I also want to thank Diana McMahon, who is my director, for collaborating with me and my advisor at the University of Minnesota, Dr. Mary Fran Tracy, who I have listed here. I'm making her a video so that she can see my little presentation. And hey, and so, yeah, I just appreciate all your guys' attention and excitement. And I'm looking forward to imaging department really being a benchmark for relationship-based care, steering committee sustainment over time. I think you guys have the potential to do that. I really do. Any questions at all? Thoughts, concerns? Okay, yes? Check out for my presentation. It's just, I feel like you won't know that it's really me. I could be an imposter. So, one word to describe your commitment to the culture of the imaging department. Whoever goes first gets to choose which way to go. One word to describe your commitment to culture for the imaging department.
I'll go first.
Go, Amanda.
Okay.
Okay, which way do you want to go? Okay.
Energized.
Great. Back there.
Commitment.
Great. Right here.
Ready.
Okay, Jeannie.
Engaged.
Great, Jeremy.
Enthusiastic.
Great.
Dedicated.
Pass.
Determination.
Consistent.
Also said dedicated.
Great.
Me too, but I see passion.
Great.
Promising.
Great. Coming back to the pass.
Cheers.
Cheers! Huzzah!
Oh.
Right.
Love it. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.